So, a few days ago, I watched the Studio 4C film Motherfuckers, and I gave it a 10 out of 10. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. I thought it was an amazing experience all around. And I feel like it's really interesting, all the things it manages to achieve. It's a Japanese-French co-production. Studio 4C has done those things before. Usually when the Japanese and the French team up, they do some good things. Because I think the Japanese and the French have very similar values when it comes to art. Despite France being really left and Japan being really conservative, when it comes to art, they both kind of have this attitude of well, it's art, anything kind of goes, because that's just a not real fantasy thing. And that's at least with the case of Japan. I feel like I don't have enough insight on France and how they view art, but it is the country that managed to have postmodern philosophers like Deleuze and Foucault and Guattari be genuine celebrities with TV appearances. And it's a country that loves its artists and puts so much into funding the arts. I feel like having a celebrity like Deleuze, and I feel like that is something that Americans could never ever have. So they like each other a lot. They take from each other a lot. Every artsy Japanese artist sucks off France. Ikuhara, fucking Kaiji Hino. They all love France. So, but this is also another interesting cultural sort of intersection here, because I feel like what Motherfuckers is a lot of times is North American, North American Orientalism. It's Motherfuckers is simultaneously the hood in America, but also it's a hodgepodge of Latin American cultures, and it kinda is this just meshing of these ideas of what are the hoods over there because it's also very much, because it's supposed to take place in California, and I feel like you can make an argument that there's a lot of appropriation going on with this film. There definitely is, but as someone who is half black and grew up with mostly black people before I got onto the internet and started talking to a lot of white people and a lot of black people who are into anime, I know that Motherfuckers is appealing to what a lot of them would want. I do have people in mind that I wish I could show if I was still in contact with them, because it's it's an anime that appeals to the specific struggles that black people go through. It's why a lot of black people kind of like really connected to Dragon Ball, because it's like, well, it is about like this like alien race, the Saiyans, who are like almost completely fucking destroyed. Like Goku and Vegeta are like the only ones left, and they are like under threat from Frieza, who is literally just like a white colonizer. And it's like, yeah, of course, and like the iconic speech Vegeta gives to Goku, and it you know, it's very interesting. I mean, and it just kind of goes into how like different cultural artifacts can just like end up appealing to people, you know, like it is really interesting that, you know, it's like we're all the same at the end of the day. But what's even more interesting about Motherfuckers is that it is basically an Ikuhara thing. It implores the Ikuhara structure to, it kind of like applies it to like a really stylish, bombastic experience that I would like recommend to people who like the Spider-Verse movies, who like Fooly Cooly, who, you know, if you anything for Studio 4C, the Boondocks, anything like that. Any, you know, Dead Leaves. I would also very much compare this film to Dead Leaves. But it is like, the whole thing about the movie is that everything kind of resets at the end. I forget the main characters' names, but like, they're in a shitty situation, a shitty fucked up place, and they want to get out, and it's very much that like, oh, I want to be a somebody type narrative. And like, they go on this big adventure. Like, the main character finds out he's like half like an alien, and these aliens are causing all the bad things to happen. They're literally like causing climate change so that they can terraform the earth for themselves. There's a whole background plot where a bunch of luchadors, who in this universe, luchadors are like the generational protectors of Earth. They like have to like save the world with a fucking like bomb that causes a snowstorm. And there's like this girl, and she's really important because it's, you know, she's just like oh, look, an attractive female. But then it's like, but then it turns out that she is like also like one of the aliens, and you know, they have to have all these insane battles. They're in fucking South Central LA, and they have the purple Omni gang, which you know, the character, because like when they go to like, yeah, it's basically like South Central LA or like Compton or something, and it's like they're surrounded by a bunch of gang members, and it's purple because it's like the Crips and the Bloods at the same time. And there is a character who's just this big guy who like is just constantly quoting Shakespeare and shooting at people, which is like, he's like the best idea in like anything. Like I get immense joy from that character. He's probably like the best character, simply because he like shows you think he's just like a gag character for that specific scene, but then he comes back and it's so good. Um, and, but, like, at the end, everything resets, and it's pretty much the same. But but like things are marginally better. One of the two main characters has a job. They they literally elect a black woman president, but they're like, I don't know if that's gonna fucking change anything, which is fucking awesome. And it's like there's like there's still a shitty situation, but there's like improvements, and then there's like it shows that like the aliens, they have their base on the moon at the end, and that the cycle will continue. It's like literally, main guy says like it's basically none of it ever happened, and that is a very Ikuhara thing. If you've seen Utena, you've seen Penguin Drum, like the idea of like the reset ending where things like kind of revert back to a status quo, but there is like a notable change that makes this incarnation kind of mutate because of the influence of the plot of all the events. I think that it's a really poignant fucking movie because of it. It also just looks great, it sounds great, the music is fucking amazing the entire time. Vince Staples is in it. He's Vince, the guy with the fiery skull head. I don't remember what the other guy's the main character's name is. For a movie I literally gave a 10 out of 10 to. Yeah, fucking motherfuckers. It's, it's Studio 4C, so it's like insane and experimental. And like, Studio 4C is just like a studio that will just want to make the really ambitious experimental projects regardless if they're good ideas, like Children of the Sea, which is also a great movie. Studio 4C is just an endlessly interesting studio that I hope to revisit. Like I've only seen 2 episodes of Tweeny Witches, but Tweeny Witches is like one of the most insane things I've experienced for those 2 episodes. It's like the cinematography and like the way that show makes you feel is truly like so insane and so like unorthodox that like it kind of simulates this feeling of motion sickness in me, which I find really interesting. Well, like, they also did the Noise Man short. They did Mind Game. Great studio. Watch Motherfuckers. And like, I feel like people who like were expecting like, because the structure is kind of all over the place, but that's like to its benefit. Like, the big climatic moment you think is going to happen only happens like 2/3 into the movie, and then a bunch of other shit happens after that, because it is just like, yeah, all of this like Matrix X schizophrenic war where like a bunch of guys are coming after you because you're the chosen one, and you have to like learn that like the like all the ways in which you are and which society sucks isn't your fault, but it's like more of like this spiritual thing that is this like constant cycle that is like kind of immaterial at the end of the day. And as a person who thinks of the world in very schizophrenic terms, that is really appealing to me. But I can also see why for other people who expect like a movie that is like satisfying in a traditional way would think that this movie like drags at points, or they're just racist anime fans, because I literally have seen people say that the music is underwhelming. If you think the music is underwhelming, you're just like a white person who's scared of rap music. Like, that's what you are. those are my rambling insomnia thoughts on the film Motherfuckers. Shout out to the Japanese and the French. I love what they're doing. They should do more things.